Hi all, today we'll discuss top 20 Java with a Spring Boot Kafka real-time interview question for experience. So what all are the questions interviewer will ask for this Kafka based with a Spring Boot? So the first question is what are the key features of Apache Kafka? The next question is how does Kafka ensure this message durability? And the next question is what is Kafka partitions and why it is important? The next question is explain the concept of consumer group in Kafka. What is consumer group in Kafka? Why we are using the consumer group in Kafka? And the next question is how would you handle Kafka messaging order in a Spring Boot application? How you are handle Kafka messaging? The next question is what are Kafka offset and offset management? The next question is what is the role of Kafka producers in a Spring Boot? The next question is how do you configure Kafka consumer in a Spring Boot? The next question is explain the difference between Kafka listener and Kafka template. So what is at the rate Kafka listener and what is the Kafka template? When to use Kafka template? When to use Kafka listener? The next question is how do you implement retry logic of Kafka consumer in a Spring Boot? So what is the use of at the rate retrieval topic? And the next question is how does Kafka handle message retention? Next question is how would you manage errors in Kafka consumer in a Spring Boot? So what is DLQ? Dead letter queues. What is the use of at the rate error handler? The next question is what is Kafka stream and how does it differ from Kafka consumer API? What is Kafka stream and how does it differ from consumer API? The next question is how do you ensure idempotency in Kafka consumer? The next question is how would you scale a Kafka based Spring Boot application? The next question is what is Kafka transactional messaging and why it is useful? When to use Kafka transactional messaging? Next question is how would you monitor Kafka in a Spring Boot application? What is JMS metrics? The next question is what are the security mechanisms available in Kafka and how would you configure them in a Spring Boot? What is SSL and SASL? The next question is how do you handle back pressures in Kafka consumer? The next question is how do you integrate Kafka with other Spring Cloud component? So discuss this integration in of Kafka with a Spring Cloud stream. How can you use a Spring Cloud and build the event-driven microservice? So these all are the top 20 Kafka with a Spring Boot real-time interview questions. So if you want to refer, you can refer this. These all are the very important questions. Most of the company they will ask related for this. Yeah, thank you.